In a world where inexpensive, disposable ballpoint pens are the norm, there are still discriminating people who prefer using a deluxe writing instrument. A fancy, high-quality ballpoint pen is as stylish as it is functional. It's often paired with a matching pencil in an elegant gift set. Silver-plated, alligator leather, chainmail, rose gold with crystals. Pen casing designs are endless. This model is decorated with lacquer, made from the resin of a particular tree that grows only in China. They apply it using a special brush made of human hair. Coating the recessed areas of a brass pen casing creates the effect of black stripes running the length of the pen. Once the resin dries, they wash the pens several times. Then, with a cotton wheel and some polishing compound, they buff the lacquer to a high gloss shine. Here's another model with an etched design. A computer-guided machine engraves the fine, intricate pattern with a diamond chisel. The casing is brass, but they'll plate it in a precious metal such as gold, platinum, or rhodium. Every pen, regardless of design, has a brass or sheet steel clip that coordinates with the rest of the pen. They position the clip on a press, and it applies just enough pressure to push tiny pegs into holes in the cap. The factory tests every clip for tension resistance. It has to stretch to a certain extent, then return to its original shape. The pen's tip is made of brass plated in silver, gold, or rhodium. This machine drills the hole through which the retractable ballpoint will protrude. This machine injects ink inside the pen cartridges, which are made of brass. It then caps the writing end with a tip containing a tiny stainless steel ball. As the pen writes, the ball transfers ink to the paper. The machine then flips the cartridges in the opposite direction and shoots some grease through the other end. This seals the ink inside. Now, the filled cartridges go for a ride on a centrifuge machine, which pushes the ink down toward the ballpoint. This machine runs random samples through a quality control test for ink flow, ensuring each cartridge outputs 8 kilometers of quality writing. A twist mechanism at the top extends and retracts the cartridge writing tip through the pen tip. The factory tests the mechanism on each and every model thousands of times. Now onto another model, this one decorated in chainmail. Workers cut the material to pen length, then fasten it around the brass pen casing. After several washes in water and solvent-free detergent, followed by several rinses, they precision glue the tip and cap to the casing. Then they insert the cartridge, along with a spring to provide resistance when the ballpoint presses against the paper. Finally, they cap the top with either a push-button mechanism, like this one, or a twist mechanism, as we saw before. Before packaging, every single pen undergoes one last quality control check under magnification to be absolutely certain that even if your spelling is poor, your writing will be great. The ballpoint pen was designed as the answer to the fountain pen's many annoyances. The hassle of having to manually refill the barrel with ink that dried slowly and often smudged. The ballpoint has a tiny steel ball in its tip, which applies quick-drying ink from a ready-made cartridge. When the ink cartridge inside these retractable pens runs out, you simply replace it with a new one. Working from the initial design, the pen factory makes molds for all the pen's plastic components. The injection molder first shoots hot liquid plastic into molds for the barrel's rigid core, then into other molds for its soft rubber grip. The tubes for the ink cartridges are also made of plastic. Machinery aligns them in the same direction, then prints on the company name, model number, and tip size. Here, a filling machine injects 0.8 grams of ink through the tip. To prevent the ink from evaporating, it plugs the other end with 0.1 grams of silicone paste. Meanwhile, high-precision machines progressively shape the pen's tip out of stainless steel blanks. The equipment drills a 1 millimeter channel through the blank, then, in quick succession, fashions the tip into a cone, cuts 5 tiny ink flow channels into the ball socket, and seats a 1 millimeter diameter stainless steel ball in the center. Another machine then inserts a finished tip in each ink-filled tube. A scanner then checks the length and the ball of each cartridge. This magnification shows the width of the 5 ink flow channels next to a human hair. Random samples undergo an air pressure test to check the ball's position and movement. Anything less than perfect will clog the pen. They close off the end of the cartridge with a plastic cap. The cartridges now go into a centrifuge, which forces the ink to the tip, eliminating any air bubbles that would obstruct ink flow. Every cartridge passes through this writing test machine. That blue light is a sensor, which triggers the machine to reject any defective cartridge. The components now come together in the assembly department. The machine assembles the clip, sleeve, and barrel. The clip is made of chrome-plated spring steel, a strong metal that regains its shape when flexed. The machine then flips the assembly over to receive the internal components. First, the pen's 2-part push-button mechanism. Part 1, the plastic push-button. Part 2, a device called a rotor. With each click, it rotates the refill 45 degrees, so the tip wears evenly. The ink cartridge goes in tip side up, the plug on the back fitting into the rotor. This device forces spring steel wire through a coiling block. This produces a tiny spring that provides resistance to the push-button mechanism. A grabber places the spring over the cartridge tip. Now they close up the pen by adjoining the barrel's bottom part. The machine screws the 2 parts together to a specific tightness. The final assembly machine tests the push-button mechanism to ensure it retracts the tip properly. This also prepares the pens for packaging, as they go into the boxes with tips retracted. The factory subjects random samples to endurance testing. This device clicks the push button 100,000 times. Only then does a printer put the logo on the barrel. This company's engineering of its inkflow channels and tip delivers, on average, 4 kilometers of writing per cartridge.